oh my God, they hate me. I must have done something wrong. I should have totally done something different. Any of these sound familiar? If you've ever noticed when your mind's kind of swirly, you're feeling extra crappy, and nothing seems to be helping, then this video is for you. We're talking narratives, or the stories that we tell ourselves, and a simple technique to stop the swirl. Hi friends, welcome back to Trigger Warning. I had this thought in my head that I kind of wanted to share. So we'll see how this goes. Like, this is kind of going to be messy, and there's some dude, you probably can't see, but filming something back behind me. Anyways, that's fun. Okay, weird stuff happening. Anyway, I guess it's kind of a technique. I don't know. I feel strange sharing this because imposter syndrome is a real thing. But I have seen how this has been a benefit in my own life, and so why not share it with other people, right? So basically, this kind of came from, I guess it kind of started, I was watching this other video. Her name is Emma, I believe. It's Therapy in a Nutshell. I can link her channel down below. But she was talking about narratives, I believe, and kind of gave some tips and suggestions on, I guess, how to change the narrative. And I really appreciated that video, and I enjoyed it, but if I'm honest, it kind of felt almost overwhelming in a way. The suggestions, if I remember correctly, I believe it was like pause, which is fine. That's always a good first step for anything when like emotions are high or whatever. But I believe the next one to kind of shift narratives was to come up with 6 different stories or something like that, which was really hard for me to come up with, and that's okay. I just kind of assume that I'm not the only one, so I don't know. If I am, awesome. So that's kind of where it started, and like I said, I kind of practiced some of that a little bit, but coming up with 6 was really, really challenging for me. And it just felt like it took a lot of work and time, and I don't really have the work and time in the middle of the day when I'm noticing that like there's something going on, my brain is spiraling, I'm, whatever it is. I don't really have the time to sit there and like come up with 6 different stories to tell myself. So that was months ago, and it's not really something that like I've practiced on a regular basis. Like, I'm gonna come up with 6 stories right now, like, between then and now. But narratives play a really big role in my life, and I can only speak for myself, but I assume that that's similar for everybody. We all have stories that we tell ourselves, whether we're aware of them or not. And they come from different places, and that's okay. Learned, taught, whatever. But they're not necessarily true, right? And I know I've had instances where I've tried to reach out and ask questions of another person to kind of clarify, and sometimes that actually works. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's kind of bitten me in the ass. And I know in my adult brain that probably has more to do with that person than it has anything to do with me. They're just not in a place emotionally where they're able to process through that. And yeah, I just have to trust my gut in situations like that. But that's a tangent. So I guess I just wanted to touch a little bit on what a narrative is, I guess. I mean, I already kind of talked about it, but basically it's just the stories that we tell ourselves, right? I don't have any scientific proof to back this up right now, but some of the other things that I've heard as I've been on this process of emotional health for myself is like our brain, it looks for things, particularly because of past experiences, to keep us safe and protected. And those aren't always necessarily what we could call good things. And sometimes those protectors get in the way as we get older. And there, a lot of the times, it's automatic. It's not something that we're even consciously aware of that's happening. So becoming self-aware is really beneficial because it's like one of the first steps in kind of noticing and being able to kind of shift things around. So I would say that those narratives would kind of fall into place in that particular area. So I could say, for example, I feel like this is a pretty common one. I know for me, I grew up in a home where I heard very often that we don't have enough money. And so that is a narrative that has developed in my brain. And so a lot of times I'm not even conscious that that's the narrative that's playing in my head. But it prevents me so often from stepping into something, from taking a risk, from even taking care of myself in an appropriate way, because I have this narrative in my head. So I hope that explains that a little bit. If not, let me know. Comments, questions, I'm open to all of those. So anyway, putting all of this together with the video that I watched on narratives and explaining what they are, and then kind of the thing that I actually really wanted to share, it's something that I've started putting into practice for myself, that kind of goes along with all of this, but I call it the what if. So I've noticed in myself, again, kind of partnered with this narrative idea, that a lot of times I could classify them as negative, right? Quote unquote, they're bad. And again, a lot of times I'm not even conscious of them at first. But they could be, like, if we go back to that money example, I don't have enough money. I'm never going to have enough money, no matter how hard I try, like, whatever it is, right? Or, people just reject me. If somebody doesn't get back to me on a text message or something like that, oh, they hate me. Like, things can kind of spiral sometimes, and I hope I'm not the only one. But what I've tried to put into practice in my life, instead of having this what if that goes negative, I pause and I try to reframe it in a way that's negative or the opposite, right? So, like, if all of a sudden I'm having a panic and I'm not even realizing it, but it's connected to I don't have enough money, and it's like dinner time and I'm out somewhere or whatever, and it's like the only option that I really have is to buy myself some dinner, but it's out of my budget, like, I'm spiraling. So my new what if would be, what if I have enough money? What if this isn't going to, deter, whatever it is, fill in the blanks, right? I hope that makes sense. So anyways, I've started to compile this list on my phone, and like I said, it's not an immediate habit right now, but it's something that I've kind of started to practice, and I've just kind of started to list. So whenever I've noticed this and I'm spiraling in a negative way, I pull out my phone and I try to come from the opposite perspective. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, leave that on the internet. I hope that it's encouraging for somebody. What ifs, right? Instead of the what if that's negative, what about we consider a what if that's a positive, that's a good thing. And let me know how it goes, and let me know how you feel, because I know that I've physically felt shifts happen in me when I've paused and I've done this little practice. So anyway, I hope that's encouraging. Thank you for watching all the way through. Like and subscribe, and keep an eye on other things, and I'll continue to share. So thanks so much. Bye.